Hello and welcome to this video on BIDMAS. BIDMAS is also known as the order of operations, and this means it's the order in which we go through a question, calculate and work it out. So the order for BIDMAS is exactly what it says. B, which is brackets. So we go through a question and we do everything inside the brackets first. And that will become clear when we do a couple of questions in just a second. Next, it's indices, or index, the singular version of indices. And index or indices is just a fancy way of saying power. So for example, 2 to the power of 3. 3 here is the index. So what this means is as we go through the question we do the brackets first and then we do the indices. Next is divide. Then it's multiply. Then we add. And then we subtract. Oh, that's a bit messy. Start that one again. So you might be wondering, well, why do we need this order? Why can't we just do whatever we want when we have a question? So for example, we have 3 times 3 plus 6 divided by 5 plus 1. So for a start, this isn't a very well written question. It's not particularly clear at all. And there is a bit of an onus on whoever's writing the question to make it clear what they want you to do. Obviously maths is a bit of a construct thought up by humans, so obviously there can't be, questions don't just pop out of thin air. There has to be, somebody has to write the question, so it's up to them, whoever's sort of formulating the question, or more broadly, even if you go on to do more advanced maths and you're sort of thinking up questions yourself, it's up to you to sort of make it clear to whoever might be reading it what's going on. But aside from that, let's say we have something like this. It pops up on Facebook every so often with ice cream cones and hamburgers and chips and goodness knows what. There's loads of arguments in the comments. But for example, how would we work this out if we didn't have BIDMAS? Would we just do left to right? Would we just do, I don't know, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 6 gives us 15. 15 divided by 5 would be 3, plus 1 is 4, so there's one answer. Or would we do it right to left? Would we do 5 plus 1 is 6, divided by 6 is 1, plus 3 is 4, times 3 is 12, there's another answer. Or would we just do 3 plus 6 is 9, divided by, I don't know, 6 there on the right would be 2/3, times by 3 would be, 3 would cancel with the third, so then we just have 2. So we have 3 different answers here to what's essentially the same question. So the whole point of BIDMAS is it gives us a structure we can all work towards to agree on a way to work this out and come to the same answer. So I hope that's explained it. I'll do a couple of questions now. Question 1, 2 times by, in brackets, 3 squared plus 5 minus 9. So BIDMAS, brackets, we have some brackets here, and we're looking inside the brackets doing that first. Well, inside the brackets there are no more brackets, so we do indices. So it's 3 squared first. So outside the brackets 2 remains the same, 3 squared is 9, 5 remains the same, everything else remains the same. Okay, inside the brackets again, there's no more brackets, within the brackets I mean. Index, there's no index now because we've just solved that. Divide, there's no divide, there's no multiply, so we're on to addition or add. So everything else remains the same. 9 plus 5 is 14. Minus 9. And now there's nothing left to do with those brackets, so we can just ignore them. So what do we do now? Brackets, there are none. Indices, there are none. Divide, no. Multiply, so 2 times 14 is 28. And again, no brackets, no indices, no divide, no multiply, no add, but there is a subtract, so 28 minus 9 is just 19. So there's question 1. Question 2, look at the brackets, do everything inside the brackets first. There are no brackets within the brackets, so it's indices next. 6 squared is 36, plus 4, everything else remains the same. Inside the brackets again, within the brackets there are no brackets, there are no indices, there's no divide, there's no multiply, but there is an addition. So 36 plus 4 is 40. And there's no more need for the brackets, so we can just ignore them. 40 divided by 10 is just 4. So there's question 2. Question 3. Now this is slightly more interesting because we have a numerator and a denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with the numerator first. Num here just means numerator. So the numerator, just going to write that out again to make it nice and clear for the examiner. So what do we have here? Brackets, we'll deal with those first. So inside the brackets, there are no brackets within these brackets. So we're on to indices now. There is an index, it's 2. So 7 squared is 49. Minus 4. Within the brackets, 49 minus 4 is just 45. 45 divided by 5 is just 9. So there's the numerator. The denominator, so within the brackets we have an index, so 2 to the power of 3 or 2 cubed is just 8, so that's 2 times 2 times 2, so 2 times 2 is 4, times by 2 again is 8, times by 2 plus 2. That's quite strange here because we could have obviously just had 2 to the power of 4. If 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2 times another 2, that's just the same as 2 to the power of 4. So that's a slightly strangely written question there, but whatever. So 8 times 2 inside the brackets is 16, plus 2 is 18. So the numerator, don't forget, is 9 and the denominator is 18, so that just comes out to be 1/2. That's question 3. Question 4 now. So this is quite interesting because we have a bit of algebra going on and we have some substitutions to be made. So we have z equals 3a squared plus 3b all over 4 brackets c plus 7. So what we can do is just substitute these in straight away and do 3a, which is minus 3, squared plus 3b, which was 3, all over 4c was minus 5 plus 7. And I hope you've noticed here that wherever there's a substitution to be made, I open brackets and just put the whole of the substitution in, including the sign. So a is here, and here's the substitution of a with the sign included. And that, to me, just makes it super clear that the sign also needs to be squared. just remember to be careful with that. With the negatives that get squared, remember that a negative times a negative when it's squared, or for any matter, but a negative times a negative is always a positive. What you really wouldn't want to happen is do 3 squared, which is 9, and then think, oh yeah, the negative, and then make minus 9, because that would be wrong. Minus 3 squared is 9. So we can just look at the numerator again. So the numerator is 3 minus 3 squared plus 3 times by 3. So minus 3 squared, as we've said, is 9. So 3 times 9 plus 3 times 3, which is 9. So there's no brackets, there's no indices because we've just dealt with them. There's no divide. There is a multiply though, so there's 2 multiplications here. 3 times 9 is 27, and 3 times 3 is 9. 27 plus 9 is 36. So there's the numerator. The denominator, 4 brackets minus 5 plus 7. Inside the brackets, 7 take away 5 is 2. So 4 times by 2 equals 8. I've kind of missed out a step there, but not really. So 7 take away 5 is 2, and then remember these brackets are always multiplied together. You just can't see the multiplication sign there. It's just kind of taken for a fact that 4 is multiplied by these brackets. So the numerator was 36 and the denominator is 8. We can divide top and bottom by 2, which is 18 over 4. We can divide by 2 again to get 9 over 2. So there we go, there's question 4. So I hope that's made things clear with BIDMAS. The order operations, just remember, do your brackets first, do everything inside those brackets. Remember that there can be brackets within brackets, so just always make sure you do everything inside the brackets first, then go through and do the indices or the powers, then you can divide, then you can multiply, add, subtract. If you have a fraction question, just do the numerator first and then do the denominator. So I hope that's helped. Thanks a lot for watching.